Welcome to America This Week, and folks, what a week it has been. I cannot express this clearly enough. I do not condone what happened at the U.S. Capitol. It is never okay, no matter which side you are on, to put lives in danger. Let lives, white lives, blue lives, all lives. What played out in our nation's capital was an embarrassment, and it's time to move forward. Sinclair national correspondent and investigative reporter James Rosen has been covering the Capitol protests and joins us now. James, kind of sum it up for us right now. I mean, there's been sniping going back and forth. Where do we stand? Where do the Republicans stand? How are they handling what happened at the Capitol this week?
Eric, greetings from Capitol Hill, where, of course, above all things that occurred yesterday, a woman was shot to death, and so there was loss of life. So when we ask where we go from here, there is going to be mourning and then, of course, criminal prosecutions for not only that crime, but others that were committed at the Capitol yesterday. In political terms, I think the first thing we're going to see is a determination from President-elect Biden and congressional leaders that, of course, something like this can never be allowed to happen again, and that appropriate reforms must be enacted to ensure or to take the best chance at ensuring that it never happens again. And to that end, I think there will be considerable pressure for a very thorough, independent review of the performance of the U.S. Capitol Police and perhaps other agencies as a kind of post-mortem to examine what went wrong from a security perspective here. On an average Tuesday, I, as a reporter, have to face many roadblocks just in getting into the Capitol, even with the correct credentials to do so. And so how this could have occurred on a day where all concerned understood that there was going to be a lot of activity, a big rally that President Trump himself touted in a tweet on December 19 when he promised his Twitter followership in the dozens of millions that, quote, it will be wild. So the U.S. Capitol Police in particular are going to face scrutiny here. But of course, in historical terms, I think this will be rendered as a stain on the legacy of President Trump, particularly with that tweet in mind, but not only that tweet, Eric.
You know, James, I spent the better part of 2 decades in and out of D.C. A lot of time in the Capitol, around the Capitol, in the Russell, and the other buildings, the various buildings that house the Congress people and senators. It always struck me. Now, let me point this out. I believe the Capitol Police are completely capable. They are a great group of law enforcement officers, very, very well equipped, very well trained. It always struck me as to the openness of these buildings. You can literally, as a citizen, walk through the halls of some of the Senate, the offices of senators and Congress people and the U.S. Capitol with not a lot of checks and balance checks on the way in.
Well,
I guess as everything else in this world happens, yeah, go ahead.
Well, simply to say, Eric, that yes, it's true what you say. Any citizen is free to enter the halls of the Capitol building and its surrounding office buildings, but only after going through a magnetometer and a search of pockets where necessary, and pretty good security. And so I think that, again, you're correct to bring up the heroism of U.S. Capitol Police. Just as we don't know all the facts of what occurred yesterday at this early stage, we may never be able to tally all the individual acts of heroism by U.S. Capitol Police and other law enforcement officers yesterday, and perhaps by some ordinary citizens. So all of this remains to be investigated. But I can tell you that from my discussions with senior U.S. officials who were directly involved in the federal response to yesterday's actions, the U.S. Capitol Police is coming under a special scrutiny in their initial post-mortems. I've also been told by one federal official that the National Guard could not be activated until a formal request for it had been made by Washington, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser, and that didn't come until around 3 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm told, furthermore, that within 4 minutes of that request coming in from the mayor, the first of what I'm told are 7,000 National Guard units from the district, Maryland, and Virginia were activated. I asked how long the National Guard might stay on this mission here in the nation's capital, and I was told it could last as long as 30 days.
All right, we're going to have to leave it there, James, but you're 100% right. Those things there were some balls dropped there. But again, I think the way we do life in America, once again, is about to change dramatically, again, because of a small group of people. James Rosen, always good to have you on.
Thank you, Eric.